Hi everyone, Cassie here. Welcome back for another video here on my YouTube channel. Today I have the Spellbinders April 2021 Sincerely Yours card kit. As far as I know, it is still available, so I'll have it linked down below, but let's jump right into what we're making. I have cut this piece of cardstock down to 3.5 inches, and I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces of 1.5 inch each. So those are going to fit onto a panel that I have already cut down. It's a light pink piece of cardstock that came in the kit. That piece of cardstock was cut down to 4 inches by 5.25, so a little bit smaller than an A2 size card. I'm just going to kind of place those on there, see how I want those, and then I am going to pull out the tape that came in the kit. One of the neat things about these kits is that they always come with adhesive. So basically all you need is like really just maybe some scissors, some coloring elements, and maybe some stamps for the stamp that comes in the kit, and a die cutting machine obviously, but you could take a lot of these on the go if you didn't want to do the die cutting. And then I'll peel off all of the release paper on the backs of these. I did have a little bit of an issue, so I just used a paper piercer and that did the trick. And then I'm just going to line those up onto this pink panel, and I just think it's so pretty. That pink matches very nicely. And then, as you can tell, I already have some elements pulled out. We aren't going to do any stamping on this card. In fact, I only do stamping on one of the cards that I make for you today. But I didn't like the S on friends, so I'm just going to trim that off so that way I can put lovely friend on the front of this card. And then I'll pull out one of these super dimensional stickers with the clear back. These are beautiful, and I can't believe there's 6 in there. That's incredible. And then I'm just going to stick that down at the bottom, and then I'll use that same adhesive to put a strip on the back of friend and a strip on the back of lovely, and then we'll peel off that release paper for both of those, and then we'll stick those down. So we'll just position friend on there, and then we'll position lovely right on there as well. And then we're pulling out the card base because these kits come with 10 card bases and envelopes, which is really awesome. And I do decide I want to trim this down just a little bit, so I'm trimming off of 2 sides. Just a tiny bit, no big deal. Then we'll put that adhesive on the back of that, attach that to our card base, and that'll finish off our first card. No stamping, but check that out. How cool is that? Very pretty. Card number 2 is my most involved. I did all sorts of die cutting with all the different colors of cardstock. Well, almost all the cardstock that came in the kit, using the die cuts, and now I'm just kind of separating them out. I'm going to start attaching their little centers with a little bit of liquid glue and my crystal katana, and I'll do that for all of them. I made sure to cut out plenty of centers. I end up with actually quite a few left over. I use almost all the greenery. I don't end up actually using any of those tiny pieces, so I can save those for another time or just do whatever, maybe make another card with those. But once I get that all assembled, now I'm going to assemble the envelope. There are some score lines. You just score it along those edges. This is if you want to make this envelope something that is more 3D. I took a piece of pattern paper and cut it down to 4 inches by 5.5 inches, so there'll just be a nice border on each the left and right hand side. And now I'm going to start kind of playing around with how I want this to look. I haven't attached my envelope yet, but I will now. I'm going to use that same liquid glue because I just want to make sure I keep that structure. And then I'll attach that down. This is going to be a fairly bulky card. I think if I were going to send this one in the mail, I would want to make sure and maybe put it in a padded envelope or something like that. But now I'm kind of placing those pieces in there. I did put some foam tape behind a few of those flowers, attached their stems to them, got those ready, and now I'm attaching down the rest of those flowers that are going to be in the background. I didn't really play around with it too much ahead of time. I honestly just started putting pieces down. You could go ahead and plan it out, but I'm just not. That takes a lot of time. So I decided I didn't want to do that. So I'm just playing as I go, and there are so many flowers there I can fill in where I need to. I think that'll be just fine. And I'll just keep popping those flowers in. These dimensional foam squares are very dimensional. They're like extra dimensional, I think. So they work perfectly with this envelope, which is extra dimensional itself. So then I'm moving on back to the glue, putting a few more of those flowers, just kind of filling in. I'll even have a few of them hanging out from the outside, like that pink flower on the right-hand side. We'll put a purple one on the left. and then add extra flowers to there. This is next where I pull in those puffy stickers. I'm gonna pull in the hugs word, and it's 2 pieces, so I'm going to try and center that up as best I can, pull off the H and stick that down. It kind of gets lost, so I do take those last 2 tiny little flowers after I attach to this to a, well, I don't actually attach, yeah, no, I attach it to the card base, and I do use that liquid glue one more time here. I'm going to take those 2 last little flowers and pop those next to the word hugs, just kind of underneath those letters, and then that'll draw everything together. And then once that's on there, that will finish off this card. It did take some time, but I think the end result was totally worth it. Card number 3 is the only card that I actually do any stamping on, so I'm going to use some Memento Tuxedo Black ink, stamp that down onto some Express It cardstock, and then I've pulled out some different Simon Hurley Create inks that matched really, really well with this kit. So that first pink that I used is the Rosy Cheeks, then we've got Breakup Blue, that's the new color. The next one I've got is Minty Fresh, and I'm just working my way through the rainbow. I love that this kit has so many different things that you could put on this cup. You can either put them on the cup, stamp them separately somewhere else, or whatever, but I love that there are lots of options. And then our final color is Midnight Snack. And when I say they match perfectly, I mean they really do. And the beautiful thing about one of the beautiful things about the Simon Hurley Create inks is that they are Copic friendly. So I am coloring around this, but if I wanted to color right over the top of that, I absolutely could. So keep that in mind when you pick out your inks. All right, I've gone ahead and finished coloring, and I fussy cut it out, and now we'll start actually assembling a card. So this pattern paper I picked out, I'm going to cut that down to be the full size of an A2 size card, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And then I have some of this navy blue cardstock that came in the kit. I'm just going to trim that down so that I can have that be a layering piece on the top. And then I did pick out some ephemera. I've got this piece here, and then we've got like a little rainbow and a little bit of sunshine, and then I can see how everything's going to layer up nicely on there. I'll pull out one of the sentiments because there are so many good ones, and I thought this would work perfectly to just stamp right at the bottom of our little ephemera tag. There are brighter days ahead. And now I will put some adhesive behind all these pieces and attach those down. I'll do the same thing for our sun, our rainbow, and then I did use foam squares on the back of our stamped cup, and I'll attach that down. Then I'm going to attach this to the front of an A2 sized card base that came in the kit. And once that is done, that's going to finish off card number 3. Super fun and easy. Card number 4 is going to be a paper pieced background, so I've picked out 4 patterns, and these are very thin papers, so I can stick these in my guillotine trimmer like this. But I'm going to trim these down to just over an inch, and then just over an inch again. So basically they're like an inch and, golly, I don't even know exactly, but I'm making them into little squares. And so I'll do that 4 times with these strips of paper, and then I'll have 4 little stacks of these little cubes. And then once I have all of those little cubes all cut out, and normally I wouldn't suggest doing this with pattern paper, like stacking it up 4 deep, but this is thin paper, so it's fine. So then I'm just going to organize it onto a piece of pink cardstock that I've trimmed down, and then we'll attach all of these using some of that liquid glue. Once they're all attached, my next step is to cut out another little envelope. And I've done this out of some purple cardstock. I'm going to trim these down just to the first score line. So I've got that first score line. I'm going to cut off on each of those 3 sides. Originally I was like, I'm not sure why I'm doing this, but then I scored it and I liked that it actually still looked like an envelope with the rounded edges. And so I'm happy that I did that. I thought that was a good call, but it takes away some of that dimension, which is nice too. So now I can take the last part of the envelope, the more triangular top, and I can adhere our envelope together like this. And then it will look like this cute little paper pieced envelope, or it doesn't even have to be paper pieced, that we've stuck on top of our card. And it's so cute. It's so cute. So then now that I've got that, I'm going to kind of take a look at that and then attach it down to the front of our card base. I'm not going to have it be centered. In fact, some of that's going to stick off the edge, and I am going to trim that off, which will leave that end open, but that's fine. I'll just take a tiny bit of that liquid glue and close our envelope shut again. Just a little bit. I don't even know why I left it like that. I didn't put anything in it, but I do like how that looks. So now I'm going to pull out one of those 3D stickers and stick that down on top. And then I do grab some of the ephemera, and we'll attach some of that as well. We've got a leaf and a couple of little flowers, and then also that little pin, and we'll attach all of those down. And then we'll pull out another one of those card bases and glue everything down. I kind of walked away from the adhesive that came in the kit, even though it is good adhesive. I just am a liquid glue kind of gal. That's just me. So that's going to finish off card number 4. Super quick to put together. And now on to our final card of the day. I've got lots of pattern paper and ephemera. I'm going to trim this piece down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I have that gold mirror cardstock up there. That was cut down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So a little bit smaller than an A2 size card. And I also have another strip of that mirror cardstock. I'm going to trim down this piece of blue cardstock so that it'll be a little bit bigger than our gold mirror stripped piece. And then we can start attaching everything. That's the nice thing about all that ephemera, is that you can make very quick cards. So once again, we're pulling out our adhesive that came in the kit, and we'll start adhering all of those pieces together. So I'll put this piece right over the top of that, trim it down, and then I'll attach my pink piece to the front of my gold mirror piece. And then we'll attach our strip down to kind of the upper portion of this card, using that pattern to line it up straight. And then now we'll start layering up our ephemera. I thought these pieces would look so cute over the top of each other, and they add lots of dimension and just depth to the card. We've got some little sentiments that we're going to layer up on top of there. In the end, this will be a thank you card. So I'll just put thank you down there, and then I'll add a couple more pieces of ephemera, and we really have something going on here. And then our little daisies, we're going to pop those up using foam squares, and then we'll attach this whole thing down to a card base. And that's going to finish off card number 5. Very quick and simple, just using lots of ephemera. So let's go ahead and take a look at all 5 cards that I made for you today. I'd love to know which one was your favorite, if you did in fact have a favorite. As I've always said, that's my favorite part of doing this. But yeah, I love hearing what you guys have to say. So leave that down in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.